Nope, I have decided not to do this video. I am going to resist. Goodbye. As if, but it is about resistance actually. Oh, and apologies for the unshaven state. I like to let things go every now and again. You know, it's good to slob around a bit sometimes. Right, I'm going back to my PMI Silver Spring chapter, which was a couple of months ago. Okay, and this question about resistance was from Dwight Green, who is an information technology acquisition manager for the USAF, US Air Force, who asked, should not change management focus on the most resistance first? Good old change resistance, eh? I'm not doing that. No, sorry, I'm not doing that. Where would we be without it? I also uploaded a couple of posts onto LinkedIn a couple of months ago on the subject of change resistance, so I'll add those two links into the accompanying post to this video, okay, just to let you see what I said. Anyway, the answer to your question, Dwight, is probably yes. Is that it? Nope, it isn't. There's always a but, isn't there? And that is, how will you know where the most resistance actually is to be able to tackle it? There are four, I think, ways to find out. Number one, through your organisational change readiness exercise. Take a listen to video 16, which answers the question, how can I assess the readiness for change in an organisation? The second way is through your stakeholder engagement and analysis. Again, take a listen to video 22, which answers the question, what's the difference between change management and stakeholder management? Way three, through impact analysis, because the most resistance will likely come from those areas from people that are more impacted than others. And finally, the fourth one, keep your ears to the ground and keep your eyes open and listen. Yeah, find out what people are talking about, because you can easily assess what kind of resistance there is and where it's coming from if you do that. Yeah, ears, eyes, but don't keep your mouth shut. There are two types of resistance. There's overt, in your face. Okay, that's outspoken, that's public, it's me, I'm resisting. Then there's the covert quite, that's hidden, publicly endorsed but privately disagreed with, only discussed privately amongst people. You know, they call it the grapevine. There's a song there, I heard it through the grapevine, not much longer would you be mine. Yeah, another song, sorry. So, covert. Clearly, the most difficult to detect is the covert resistance, and you have to be a little bit clever to detect these resistors, but you can, believe me. It just takes time and the ability to read the signs. If you overhear things like, I want to stay here, I want to stay where I am because my needs are already met here, I have invested heavily here, I'm in the middle of something important, or I do not want to change because the destination where we're going looks worse than where I am now. There's nothing to attract me forward. I do not know which way to move. The journey there looks painful. Then there's the destination or journey is somehow bad or wrong. I do not trust those who are asking me to change. Or I'm not going to change because I'm able to ignore it. I could just forget about it. I have the power to obstruct the change if I want. These are clear areas, indications of resistance. Like I said, ears. There's also some major resistance factors that impact change, such as self-interest. Individuals are concerned about themselves and their view is often biased by their situational perception, not reality. Habit. Habit provides both comfort and security and are often well established and difficult to change. Misunderstanding, I don't know what that means. Communication problems maybe, inadequate information, lack of engagement, all creates a misunderstanding. Non-acceptance, being asked to operate outside of your own comfort zone, creates a sense of insecurity and leads to non-acceptance. I don't agree. Disagreement over the need for change and over the advantages and the disadvantages. Loss, big deal. If change is perceived as affecting remuneration or other rewards or patterns of working. Yeah, people don't like losing things, you know. Fear, oh my goodness me. Changes which confront people tends to generate fear and anxiety because it is seen as a personal attack when it's not really. Then there's the famous peer pressure. If your change effort threatens social bonds between team members, they may resist the change effort. There's probably a few more, but I think those are the main ones, okay? The single greatest red flag when dealing with resistance is the introduction of emotions into discussions and conversations, such as anger, hostility, loudness, and sarcasm. People rarely develop feelings based on what they think. Rather, they develop opinions on how they feel, disguising their feelings as rational arguments or rationalizations. Sometimes people resisting change do not understand why they're resisting it in the first place. That's a fact. It's just a gut reaction. Of course, a degree of skepticism can be healthy, especially where there are weaknesses in the proposed changes. However, resistance will also impede the achievement of business objectives. Leadership need to pay cognizance to the reality of encountering resistance to change. This is not about opposition to the change itself, rather than the primary causes of resistance to change are both the imagined and real effects on those involved, together with the manner in which the change is actually introduced. The key problem is making a change is how to minimize resistance from those involved. The aim should be to reduce resistance rather than attempt to just overcome it. Right? Okay, that's done and dusted. How do you deal with change resistance? How do you actually deal with it? There's loads of different ways, okay? But here are a few. First of all, you make sure you align your vision. Address the beliefs, principles, and approaches to a vision to ensure a full alignment to the desired outcome of the change. Consult widely. Have widely based consultations with impacted employees at the earliest possible opportunity in the change initiative, right at the start if necessary. Okay? Ensure understanding. Make sure that people understand what the objectives are of the change and what positive contribution they can make to it. Active involvement. Get active involvement from impacted stakeholders to ensure commitment and buy-in to the new ways of working. Role changes. Get managers to evolve from their normal roles throughout the change process towards one of support and leadership. Create awareness, the first stage of pro-size ADCAR. Develop awareness about what the change involves to increase the effectiveness of the impacted stakeholders. Teamwork. The project structure must involve people working together because time needs to be taken for the groups to learn each other's way of working and the language they use. Okay? Build knowledge. Managers need to develop a sufficient knowledge of the new ways of working to be able to give the necessary support people are looking for. All right. I'm just going to now talk a little bit about, so I'm going to give you some extracts from a guy called Rick Mora, who knows a bit about resistance to change, okay? The better we are at seeing what causes resistance, the easier it will be to build support for our ideas. In other words, if we understand resistance, yeah, we also understand the other side of the coin, support for the change, right? So, number one, resistance is in the eye of the beholder. The people resisting change don't see what they're doing as resistance. They often see it as survival. Okay. Number two, resistance to change is a reaction to the way a change is being led. There are no born resistors out there waiting to ruin somebody's perfect plans. People resist in response to something. Okay? They don't just say no. They say no to something that they're told. Resistance protects people from harm. In an organisation, resistance keeps me from saying yes to an assignment that I think will kill my career. Obvious reaction, really. After all, people aren't stupid, you know. At the end of the day, resistance is part of the process. It is inevitable. Don't fear it. Embrace it, okay? There is always a reason for the resistance you get. It may not be rational, right? But if you can understand it, you can actually deal with it. The one golden rule above all is always respect your resistors. All right? Did I answer the question, Dwight? I did say at the beginning the answer to the question was probably yes, so I could have stopped there, couldn't I? But I must admit I did ramble on a bit and took a few twists and turns, but I think it added to this important subject. So, thank you again for listening. Send me in your questions, give this a like, subscribe, hit the bell for future notifications. See you next time. Goodbye.